So this is a bonus video, what to practice, how to practice and why. And it's a bonus for all the drummers that want some advice about practicing. When I started to play the drums, I was completely clueless about what to practice and how to do it right. First, pause this video and go online to purchase a Drumeo Edge membership. It will change your life as a drummer. Everyone needs to practice to get better. If you meet a good drummer who says he or she doesn't or didn't practice, it's not true. They all work their asses off to get where they are today. But we are all different, and we are different in regards to how we practice, how fast we learn, and our predispositions. By that I mean that some things will come easier to you than others, and you will struggle more in some areas than others. In this video, I want to share some of my experiences from my own journey as a drummer when it comes to practicing, and give you some tips on what areas you should practice to become a well-rounded drummer. If I had known the things I'm going to share with you when I first started to play the drums, I would have been on a totally different level than I am today, and that is the sad truth. I do not want this for you, so that's why I made this additional video about practicing, to give you a good starting point in your career as a drummer. If you are an intermediate player, I'm sure you will find a lot of these things useful as well. And just so you know it, to become a prophetic drummer, you need to be able to play out what you hear in your spirit, and this means you need to practice to be able to play prophetically as well. How to practice, what to practice, and why. I just want to play music. How good do I need to be? For starters, you set your own goals. But the better you want to become, the more you have to practice. You don't need to be able to play a lot of advanced stuff to become a decent, even good worship drummer. In fact, it's better to know a few grooves and simple fills and be able to play these really well at different tempos and with different orchestrations to fit the music and create variations. Carl Albrecht, a professional worship drummer, analyzed the top 100 worship songs a few years ago, and to his amazement, he found out that there were only 7 basic grooves that a drummer needed to learn to be able to play in a worship team. What is more tricky is to learn song structures, specific tone patterns found in many worship songs today, drum fills, dynamics, and to play these at various tempos. Use these 7 grooves as a starting point if you are a beginner. You can use them for practicing most of the different concepts I will go through in this video. Independence, technique, styles, consistency, time, endurance, among other things. You will find these 7 grooves and the 100 songs at www.carlalbrecht.com, and you can just download the free PDF. For a demonstration of the grooves, you can order the worship drum book with the DVDs, but also just listening to the songs on the list will give you a good idea on how to play these grooves. I will not go through these grooves in this course because you can easily find them online or in Carl's worship drummer book. You can also find loads of drum videos with those grooves on YouTube or www.drummerworld.com if you search for beginners drum lessons or beginner drum grooves, for instance. An overview of what a drummer should practice. This is so important. That's theory, technique, rudiments, independence, consistency, accuracy, and time, and endurance, and developing musicality, ear training, sound, and tuning. Sound and tuning are a part of developing musicality and ear training, so I added those because they are important areas to develop when you want to serve the music. And lastly, different styles of music. Get an overview of everything and work on your foundation. That will be your start. You can't build a house on a weak foundation. That was my first mistake as a beginner drummer. I didn't have all the online tools, including Spotify, that exist today. I just didn't have the big picture, and when my drum teachers gave me new exercises to practice, I didn't know how to apply them or how to develop them further. You have no excuse not to lay down a solid foundation when you have access to all the drum videos on YouTube. The challenge is that there is heaps of stuff out there, so it's difficult to know where to start and to figure out how everything is connected. That is why that is very helpful with a step-by-step curriculum, because believe me, this overview on how everything is connected is really important to have. So, theory. Learn basic music theory such as note values and drum notation so that you can read and understand charts and sheet music. To see the note values in front of you and be able to visualize what you are playing can be a tremendous help to actually understand how rudiments and patterns are played and where to place them in a group or fill. Practicing subdivisions is necessary, so work on the note value tree. Learn all the different 16th note permutation, the fatbacks. It will help you to understand the grooves you are playing, read sheet music, and also to be able to play all the different bass drum combinations that are based on 8th and 16th notes. Technique. Work on your foundation. This is first and foremost your technique as well as the music theory. To nail good technical skills as a beginner will be a tremendous help for you in the long run, and you will become a better drummer much faster if you work on this early on. If you are an intermediate drummer and you feel that you are lacking skills in this area, it is never too late. I just couldn't nail some of the rudiments or understand where and how to apply them. However, when I learned to read simple sheet music and apply the proper technique, a new world opened up to me. I wish I had learned these things much earlier on. Learn how to play the different types of strokes and the different techniques for hands and feet. Focus on the Mahler technique at first. This method will teach you the different strokes and the motions that go with them. It will give you better control, better sound, better flow, and better timing. Then move on to more push-pull and finger control to eventually be able to play even at faster tempos. Experiment with different grips. Although most drummers start out with a matched grip, American or German, you can find this online. Learning to use the French grip is very helpful to gain control when you play at lower volumes. This grip requires the use of fingers, so eventually it is a good grip for developing finger control and speed as well. Finger control is good for speed. This takes time to learn, so don't spend too much time on this if you don't need to be able to play really fast. Find videos online to help you. If you can, get the drum technique made easy with Bruce Becker from Drumeo. That's fantastic, or a similar course about technique. Use the 7 grooves when you work on developing your technique. You can practice Mahler with your hi-hat hand, bass drum techniques with your bass drum foot, and play the grooves for a longer period of time for developing pocket and endurance. To build further on these 7 grooves, practice all the different 8th and 16th notes permutations, the fatbacks, you find those online as well. It's an amazing tool to practice and develop your foot techniques and your hi-hat technique as well. Practice different hi-hat patterns to develop it further. Use the fatbacks. At the same time, you are learning and practicing a ton of new grooves. You also need to learn technical concepts on the drums like rim shot, cross stick, hi-hat openings, etc., and to work on playing dynamically. Always practice with a metronome. Always practice things slow until you get it down. I cannot emphasize this enough. You have to play everything super slow until you get it down. This way it will go down in your muscle memory. Control always comes before speed. You must play things perfectly at a slow tempo before you speed it up. Luckily, speed comes as a consequence of practicing things slowly. Actually, there is no way to avoid the increase of speed when you practice like this. I failed to practice the slow at first principle for years, always trying to push the speed, and it did me no favor, seriously. So, rudiments. Rudiments are the language of drumming. They are like words, and with them you create sentences. Everything you do on the drums is based on the rudiments. Learn the most important rudiments first, and you can look this up online. In addition to those, I encourage you to learn how to play jags and start to apply them on other rudiments and patterns. There are also several rudiments that contain drags, and apply it on the kit. You need to work on flams, roughs and diddles, double strokes as well. You will find all 40 rudiments online, www.drumeo.com. And you don't have to be a member to find them on the webpage. To learn how to apply them on the kit, you have to be a member of Drumeo, or you can find free videos on YouTube. Practicing rudiments are crucial in developing your double strokes, also called diddles, especially the double stroke roll, 5-stroke, 7-stroke and 9-stroke rolls, and so on, and inverted doubles as well. And then of course you have the 6-stroke roll and the paradiddle, which are the favorite rudiments of most drummers and very useful, and I love them. I recommend that you over time learn all 40 rudiments if possible, but start with the most useful ones unless you want to be totally overwhelmed. It is very practical to practice rudiments when you want to improve your technique, and many of them will come in handy as well. You can use rudiments as grooves, for instance the cool paradiddle grooves that I'm going to show you, and also in fills. Consistency, accuracy, timing and endurance are next. This is all about having good technical skills. This is what playing in the pocket is about. To develop pocket, which means better overall sound, technique, consistency and good timing, practice the different styles of EDM, electronic dance music, and pop music as well. There are many different styles within the EDM genre with a variety of different groups, for instance hip-hop, trap, dubstep, techno, house, breakbeats and drum and bass. All of these grooves will help you develop consistency, accuracy, timing and endurance and your ghost notes, overall pocket, and that's what we want. The dance grooves are often relatively simple and they are very useful in worship music. There is a lot of 4 on the floor grooves in temporary worship, for instance. The reggaeton groove, which is a very popular groove in modern dance music and similar to soca, is a very typical groove to play when the Holy Spirit releases freedom and dancing in the church. I took a course in EDM drumming in Drumeo Edge with the drummer Michael Shack, and it was amazing. You have to really lock in with the click to make the groove sound good, and you need to apply the proper techniques to be able to play some of these grooves in faster tempos. You learn not to flam with your limbs, but how to align them perfectly on top of each other. By using different orchestrations, you can apply many of these grooves in many other styles as well. And it will teach you consistency, how to keep the same beat steady over a longer period of time, and place every stroke with dynamic perfection, which are really important and necessary skills to have. Also, practice blast beats at a slow tempo with a single pedal, in addition to practicing the house, techno and disco beats. This will help your limbs to line up perfectly because of the unison dependence it requires to play those beats. When you increase the tempo over time, the blast beats are very useful for both trash can endings, and you can also use this when you play prophetically. And remember to always practice new things slow. That is how accuracy, good timing and consistency are developed. Record yourself and listen for inconsistencies in your playing. Video yourself as well, or use a mirror to see how you play and if your technique is right. Know this, the better the technique you have, the more consistent and accurate you will sound and the faster you will be able to play. And from there you can go almost anywhere on the drums. Playing with energy is also very important. You should add energy and joy to the worship.